you for joining us this evening for our regular June board meeting. It is 5:45 p.m. I now call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have our agenda in front of us. Do we have any amendments or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. We now have an agenda. So we have a recognition. She didn't come. Okay, so we are going to move on. At this board, the board will temporarily set aside any business to conduct a public hearing on the 26-27 budget approved by the Budget Committee on June 2nd, 2026. Did we receive any public comment?
Not for the budget hearing, no.
Then we can go ahead. Okay, so we will close that at this time. The next item of the agenda is public comment. Jenny, did we receive any public comment? Thank you. Thank you for being at the Woodburn School District Board meeting tonight and for sharing your comments with the board. Hearing from our families and our community is important to us. During this section, the board's role is to listen. We will not be engaging in dialogue with folks making comments. When follow-up is warranted, that may be done through our superintendent in collaboration with myself, the board chair. As a reminder, we model the way for our children. Please keep your comments respectful and do not personally identify staff or students by name, as it may violate personnel and student privacy laws. In accordance with board policy BDDH-AR, the board will not hear comments regarding any individual staff members. We want to leave time for everyone, so please keep your comments to 3 minutes per person. We have a timer set for your convenience. Thank you. I would like to invite Adrian Montoya to read their public comment. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, school board members. My name is Adrian Montoya, and I'm a parent of a Woodburn High School student. I recently became aware of the school district's decision to move Success into the main campus. This decision was made without proper input of current Success students, parents, and staff. Success was constructed using a voter-approved bond. This means that the community of Woodburn found value in the program and believed in its mission to engage, inspire, and prepare all students to learn, lead, and contribute toward a just community, both local and global. If Success is moved, how will students receive individualized instruction in overcrowded classrooms? The district stated its decision was made in the spirit of allocating resources equitably to support district goals. But how can this decision be equitable? If it would continue to support Success's goal in creating a fair opportunity for students who struggle in a traditional high school setting. Success students will face uncertainty their junior or senior year of high school, and students from the main campus will also be impacted. If saving money was the deciding factor for this decision, how will moving preschool classrooms into a building meant for adults or 16 to 18-year-old students save money? There will be high costs associated with renovating the building to retrofit it for young children. So I strongly urge the school district to reconsider their decision and keep Success at its current location. Thank you.
I now call Irene Montoya to read her public comment.
Hi, my name is Irene Montoya. As a current parent at the Success student, I strongly oppose any plan to relocate Success to the main high school campus. Success exists because many students struggle to succeed in a traditional high school environment. It's a smaller setting, individualized support, and dedicated staff provide a safe and effective learning environment where students can earn the credits needed to graduate. For many students, success is not simply another school option. It is the reason they are still attending school. Many students who attend Success are carrying burdens unknown to others. Some are dealing with personal issues, family responsibilities, or the stress of feeling like they're falling behind. Success gives these students a place where they can feel supported and are free from judgment. Moving the program to the main high school campus would undermine the very reasons why the school was created. Placing vulnerable students back into a very environment that may have contributed to their struggles is not a solution. It's risk ongoing the progress they have worked so hard to achieve. This change will create crowded hallways, overcrowded classrooms, and undedicated classrooms for teachers. It will create barriers for students who need more supportive and smaller settings to effectively learn. For some students, this change will increase anxiety, reduce attendance, impact academic performance, and even put their path to graduation at risk. Converting the school's Sussex building into a licensed childcare center would require costly renovations. Before committing to such expensive project, the district should carefully consider whether this change is truly in the best interest of Success students and staff. I urge the school board to keep Success on its current campus, include parents, students, staff, and community members in any future decision-making process. Success is not a school, it is a lifeline. It is a place where students who have struggled elsewhere are given a second chance. Please do not take the opportunity away from students who need it the most. Thank you.
Max Sanchez. Ready for your public comment?
Good evening. My name is Max Sanchez, and I'm a teacher at Woodburn High School. Today, I would like to address the district's decision to move Success High School from its current location to the high school campus in the fall. 10 years ago, Woodburn voters approved a bond that would give the district funds to build a space for an alternative program. Since then, Success teachers and other staff have worked tirelessly to serve some of our most challenging students. Working with them to build individualized learning plans, create positive relationships, and facilitate opportunities for them to be successful. Success High School has gone above and beyond to make sure that all our students can achieve their full potential as lifelong learners. This move will only serve to make this work more difficult and will restrict student access to the essential support they desperately need. In the first place, this decision was made without proper feedback from students, parents, or staff. As a democratic institution rooted in community involvement, WSD needs to be transparent about its decision-making process. The lack of any public discussion prior to this decision being made demonstrates an unwillingness to engage with stakeholders or address community concerns. This is extremely troubling behavior from a school district. Furthermore, the building that currently houses Success was built with a bond approved by voters for the explicit purpose of an alternative program. Moving Success without public discussion is nothing less than a betrayal of the trust voters have placed in our district. Secondly, this decision was made without assessing its impact on student outcomes. One of the things that makes Success so special is that it provides a sense of community and connectedness for many of our students who have struggled to find it at the high school. Success has been wonderful for students who otherwise might have dropped out or fallen through the cracks. They entered our alternative program because they needed smaller class sizes, personalized instruction, and one-on-one support. By forcing these students back to the high school campus, we are in danger of losing something that makes WSD unique and has had a positive impact on our community. We also need to consider the students who have family obligations and need a flexible school schedule so they can help support their families. This move does not address the realities many of our students face and may lead to a higher dropout rate, lower academic performance, and worsening student attendance. Thirdly, the district's decision to move a preschool to the same building comes with its own set of costs. Oregon state law mandates that all buildings that are used to educate preschool-age children must have an outdoor play structure. Also, this building was never designed with these needs in mind, and it would have to be retrofitted to make it safe for young children. For instance, the bathrooms would need to be completely redone to make them accessible and usable by this new student population. I know that the district says that it is making this move to save money, but have you considered these costs as well? Thank you very much for your time.
Next call, Tony Psalm for his public comment.
Good evening. In 2015, this district asked for voters' trust, as well as their tax money, to construct a new facility whose purpose was to serve students who may or may not do well in the crowds and the hustle and bustle of a traditional high school setting, or would likely fall through the cracks of a massive complex where it's easy not to be seen, either physically or in terms of student-faculty engagement. This project was what was to be known as Success High School, and there it stands just across the parking lot from where we sit today. It was designed with a sense of both openness and belonging, a place where students facing all manner of challenges can feel supported so that they might thrive. 11 years later, this district, almost in the dead of night, without consulting in any meaningful way with students, staff, or families, has arbitrarily decided to reverse course and go back upon what was promised to voters back in 2015. What, if any, consideration was given to the impact that this change would have on current Success High School students? Why is it that when the district is not asking taxpayers for funds, decisions such as these get made as if nobody were looking? How can the Woodburn community be expected to vote yes on future construction needs when the stated purpose of projects they have approved get summarily shredded, as if the dreams we once espoused were nothing more than old paper ballots destined for the shred box? Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call Jorge Lopez for public comment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jorge Lopez. I am a past graduate from Success back when it used to be on Young Street and it was one hallway, to it now being a full actual building with classrooms, places to actually like learn in its own building instead of renting from a church. My son, who is going to be a senior this year in the fall, is a Success High School student. So I am asking the school board to reconsider its decision to move Success Alternative High School to the main high school campus. Success was created to serve students who need a different educational environment. In order to be successful, these students often struggle in traditional school settings and benefit from smaller class sizes, fewer distractions, individualized support, and a strong sense of community. Moving Success into the main campus undermines the very purpose of the program that places many students at risk of losing the environment that has helped them succeed. What is most concerning is that this decision appears to have been made without meaningful communication to the families, students, and staff who are directly affected. Parents were not informed, staff were not consulted, and students were given no opportunity to share their concerns before a decision impacting their education was announced. The community supported the bond with the expectation that programs like Success would continue to have a dedicated space designed to meet students' unique needs. Using that space for other purposes while displacing Success raises serious questions that deserves clear answers. We are demanding transparency, accountability, and a thorough explanation of how this decision was made. More importantly, we are seeking the board to listen to the voices of students, families, and educators who know firsthand why Success works. Our children deserve to be heard before a decision is made that could significantly impact their future. Together, we can advocate for students who depend on Success and ensure their needs remained a priority. We have gathered signatures from community and signatures from students on the last day of school. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call Leslie Munoz for public comment.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and Superintendent. For the record, my name is Representative Leslie Munoz, and I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the district's decision to repurpose the Woodburn Success High School facility for younger children, and in doing so, displacing the students and staff who currently rely on that space. Let me be clear, this is not a comment against serving young children. Our youngest learners absolutely deserve investment, care, and dedicated spaces. But we cannot meet the needs of one group of students by destabilizing another, especially students who have historically needed alternative pathways, smaller learning environments, and more individualized support to succeed. This is not simply a facilities decision. This is a decision about student outcomes, equity, public trust, and whether this district is honoring the purpose voters believe they were supporting. Woodburn voters approved public funds for a facility connected to Success High School because this community understood that some students do not thrive in a traditional high school environment. They understood that these students need something different: smaller class sizes, flexibility, one-on-one support, and a stronger sense of belonging. That was not accidental, that was intentional, and it mattered. So when the district decides to repurpose that facility without meaningful engagement from students, families, educators, and the broader community, it raises serious concerns. Have we fully assessed the impact this move will have on attendance, graduation rates, mental health, academic performance, and school connectedness? Have we listened carefully enough to the students who are telling us that returning to the main high school campus may not serve them well? Success High School has been life-changing for many students. Students who may otherwise have fallen through the cracks, disengaged, or dropped out altogether. When we talk about moving them, we're not just asking about logistics. We're talking about whether we're preserving the conditions that help them succeed in the first place. And this is also about public trust. When voters support a vision for a particular student population, that trust should not be casually set aside. Major decisions like this require transparency, honesty, and real community engagement. I urge this board to pause, to listen, and to meaningfully engage the students, families, and educators most affected before moving forward. We must ensure that any decision reflects both equity and accountability, and that no group of students is treated as expendable. Thank you.
I next call Misha Pfluger for his public comment.
Please contact me after the fact.
My name is Misha Pfluger. I am a social studies teacher at Success, and I am here to speak about the relocation of our program from our building to Woodburn High School. In my first in-person discussion with my fellow staff after the surprise announcement that our program was moving, one comment stayed with me. After a pause in the conversation about what would happen to us and our students, someone asked, "Why do they hate us?" I do not believe that anyone in the district office, on the school board, or in a position of power hates the staff, students, or program at Success. But the way this decision happened, without meaningful input from staff, students, families, or community members, and with only weeks left in the school year to process it, made it natural for people at Success to feel disregarded. Even worse is how our students felt. Their reactions ranged from anger to self-blame. One student asked, "Is this happening because we don't come to school enough?" Another said something to the effect of, "I know they don't like me, but I never thought they would do this." Those reactions made two things clear to me. First, no one had meaningfully talked to the people most affected by this decision, the students. Second, much of this harm could have been avoided through an earnest attempt at dialogue. When dialogue does not happen, people fill in the gaps themselves. The word that keeps coming up in my mind after talking with the Success community is contempt. It may not be intentional contempt, maybe the contempt of low expectation, assuming that this population, many of whom come from poverty, trauma, or unstable school experience, would not protest. Maybe the contempt of negligence, not thinking seriously enough about how upsetting this would be. I want to assume the best in people, but without dialogue, people are left with the feeling the process gave them. That feeling extends beyond success. In 2015, Woodburn voters approved a $65 million bond. Part of the explanation to voters included construction of a new building for the alternative education program. The community said yes to new taxes because Woodburn supports its students. The district built a beautiful new school for some of the poorest and most vulnerable students in the city, in line with its stated commitment to equity. Now, only 7 years later after the building opened to students, those students are being removed from that school without meaningful input from the people most affected. There's the financial rationale. The district has identified roughly $120,000 per year in lease savings from moving the preschool to the Success building. A building used for an alternative high school program does not automatically meet preschool licensing needs. Oregon childcare rules include requirements for improved indoor and outdoor spaces, bathrooms, sinks, fencing or barriers, safety conditions, and environmental hazard compliance. A comparable Oregon example is Baker Early Learning Center, where the former North Baker School was renovated into an early learning center. That project remodeled about 25,000 square feet and cost $2.3 million. Success is about 11,700 square feet. There's also revenue risk. Oregon school funding is tied to student enrollment through weighted average daily membership. For 2025-26, Oregon estimates total formal revenue at about $11,414 per weighted student. Even if 5 to 10 Success students stop attending because of this relocation, the district could risk roughly $57,000 to $114,000 per year before additional weights are for English language learners, students with disabilities, poverty, or other factors are considered. I ask the board to reconsider this decision, and I ask you to remember that you serve the whole community, not only the people who are easiest to hear from,
You said we
also
need to
the
cut.
students and families who are often invisible, scared, and used to being disregarded, that they have stopped trying to be heard.
Thank you.
you.
Next, we are going on to board reports. We will go around and each share how we are moving the district mission. Each board member will have about a minute to share. This is an opportunity for us to use the community engagement worksheet from last month as well. What key messages did you share this past month, or what other community or school opportunities did you engage in? Annabelle?
This month's been pretty busy. What I do recall is doing the site visit with the preschool over in Cipriano. Also did volunteer for much of the day. French Prairies Middle School Choir did trips to different elementaries where they're expecting to have students, and promoted the band and choir and performed for them. And then graduation, of course, which was wonderful.
For me, of course, attending the graduation was the highlight of the year, but I've mainly just been spending my time prepping for the board meeting.
So I also attended the graduation for the high school students and as well as the Ballard Elementary School promotional night for the 8th graders. So
I also attended the Cipriano site. I attended graduation, and I have signed up for personal development to help my board skills.
I attended graduation, attended mediation, have been reading policy because of a bunch of policy things coming up, and have also been pursuing professional development with Michael and Annabelle. Next, the Office of the Superintendent, we will be listening to a presentation by Chrissy Chapman about the Woodburn School District Preschool. Chrissy?
Good evening, Superintendent Larios and Director Weber and chair members or school board members. I'm going to invite Imelda Maya and Martha Torres to come up as well and present. So scoot on up. So, all right. Thank you for having us today. I'll let these two introduce themselves as well so that you know who's speaking.
I'm Martha Torres James. I'm the Instructional Services Program Administrator that oversees the preschool.
Good evening. My name is Imelda Maya, and I'm the instructional coach for the preschool.
All right. So in addition to the three of us supporting the preschool program, we also have, this year we had two program secretaries as well, Teresa Reyes and Carlos Padron. And we have three different sites where we've got preschools currently. One is over at Cipriano, and then we have the Russian program over at the Heritage Elementary, and then we have the CLC, which is up at the high school campus, along with the teen and parenting program. And so Martha's going to go into a little bit more detail about the classrooms that we have and the number of students that we have in those classrooms. And then Imelda's going to talk about some of the tools that we use to assess students, and then we'll talk about next steps for our program.
So our preschool classrooms are funded out of three different sources. We have the Preschool Promise Grant, the Title I-C, and then Title I-A. For the Preschool Promise, we have 4 total classrooms, which all serve about 18 students. And in the Title I-C, we have 1 migrant classroom that serves 16 students usually. And Title I-A is also, those are 2 classrooms, 1 at Heritage, 1 at the CLC, 20 slots for Heritage and 16 at the CLC. Our slots are based on square footage. We try to keep it to a certain number so that we have enough space for every kiddo with all of the furnishings, and partly from Preschool Promise, that is one of the requirements that they have. We have a total of 72 slots for Preschool Promise. Altogether, between all of the preschools, we have 124 students that we serve annually. We invite students to start arriving at 7:30, where they are offered family-style breakfasts in the classrooms with their teachers. And then they begin their school day at 8 o'clock and are dismissed at 2:20 for pickup. At the CLC, or on the high school campus, we have the pre-K classroom, but then we also have 1 infant and toddler room, which also has capacity for 8 children to be there. And we have 2 staff members that support them throughout the day. They start arriving at as early as 8 o'clock because school for our teen parents starts at 8:30. So that provides students enough time to come in, be able to settle their child into the environment and say goodbye in a nurturing way before they head off to their own classrooms. And then we stay open until 3:45. That gives students about 15 minutes to dismiss from their classrooms and come pick up their children. And we do provide transportation for any student that needs it, that qualifies within the, I guess, the regulations of our district for transportation, including, providing a car seat if we need to for them. So you can see here, we have our capacity at each of the sites and what our enrollment was for this school year. So we have space in the Preschool Promise for 72. We served 72 students in the pre-K for Preschool Promise. Migrant has the capacity of 16. This year, unfortunately, we were only able to sustain 15. Part of that, I think, is due to the climate that they were facing, and so we had a really hard time getting people to come in and sign up and stay with us, but we still kept it fairly close to our number available. Our Title I-A programs at Heritage and at the Creative Learning Center also stayed at full capacity, and you can see that attendance was pretty consistent. We have, through the Preschool Promise requirement of staying at 80% attendance, we've more than met that this school year, and overall had an average of 90% attendance for the school year with preschool students. And with the addition of the baby and infant toddlers, our number went up to 132.
Every year, students are assessed for different things. So for example, we use a assessment called TS Gold, and that's a tool that teachers use to document student progress. And this assessment is used throughout the day, every day. So attendance is very important for us because if students are not present, it's really hard to assess. Teachers assess them by observing them every day, seeing what they are learning and how they're learning and how they're showing what they're learning in the classroom. So it's really important that they're in the classroom every day. Throughout the day, they make notes about their growth in the social emotional development, physical development, language, cognitive math and literacy. So it's really, again, really important. So it's everything that they do is through observations in the classroom. They do 3 cycles a year, one in the fall, one in the winter, and the spring is till the end of the year. Every of these objectives that the teachers are observing on are very aligned to the Oregon Early Learning Guidelines. And so that is why we use that tool. We also offer health screenings for all of our students, and we offer vision, dental, and hearing every year for all of our students at all sites. In the early learning program, we also have the KPI, or Kindergarten Partnership and Innovation Grant. And this grant supports activities that support kindergarten readiness for kids 0 to 5 every year. So we provide parenting classes. We also provide Ready for Kinder sessions that are available for anybody in our community that have children 0 to age. And even some of our partners that are childcare providers. So childcare providers are also able to attend these classes to learn more about child development and how to actually provide activities in their child for the children that are under their care. And so we provide all of the materials that comes from the grant. We provide all of it to all the parents that assist to our trainings or parent workshops. At the workshops, we provide dinner and also childcare to make sure that there is less barriers for families to attend. Additionally, we also provide professional development for our preschool teachers, as well as any teacher that is K-3 is also invited to attend these trainings. So part of our grant pays for their extended time to attend these trainings for that. Also, we also have the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, that is now available statewide. And this is a program where families who have children 0 to 5, can sign up to receive free books in the mail every month. So the children can be signed up as soon as they are born. As long as they have a date of birth and a name, they're able to put them on there. And every month they'll receive a book. The books are based on their age, so they will never receive the same book a year because it goes by age. And so as they go in, once they turn 5, then they are exited from the program, but that is now available statewide. And so that's another part that we try to have families know and help them sign up for it.
All right, so some of the program highlights. We've had a preschool in our district for 12 years. So we're really proud of the work that's happened in the preschool. It has continued to grow throughout those 12 years. It definitely did not start with the number of classrooms that we currently have. So it started as a very small program and it has continued to build. And Imelda's been a part of a lot of those years. All of them? Or a lot of them? A lot of them. And so in the program, we really try to balance the schedule between free play and explicit teaching. And so those of you who got to go on the visit a few weeks ago, probably got to see some of that, where there is time, where students are just engaging in that free play and the creative play. And then there are some, structured activities that we're doing with the students around literacy and math development. And so it's a nice balance of the two to get students, ready to go into kindergarten. We do have our programs, the majority of them are Spanish-English dual language classrooms, and then we do have the one Russian and English classroom at Heritage. And we have a partnership with Western Oregon University for that ongoing improvement of our programs and the evaluation of them. And as Martha talked about, our classrooms were full this year for the Title I-A and the Preschool Promise classrooms. Migrant classroom wasn't quite full to capacity, but we're confident, that we'll continue recruiting families and trying to get that classroom full for this next year. So as you know, we are moving to the building back here behind us this next year, and we're very excited to have a space that is closer to the district, where we're able to support more easily and have the students in a program that's really preparing them to enter into our elementary schools, and we'll just continue to strengthen it every year. And so, yeah, just ending with your, profile of a graduate. Again, I tried to highlight the ones that it's hard to tell when they're highlighted, but some of the things that we're doing that align with the profile of a graduate that you have compiled is, the bilingual, expanding on other languages, reading and writing, working in teams, accepting and openness. And so this is really, the first experience that our students are having in our district. And so we're trying to make it very positive, really getting them ready for kindergarten. And we have an amazing team that works with our programs, and we're really proud of the work that they're doing.
Any questions from the board? Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
So do the three funding sources cover the entire cost of our preschool program? Or is there any out-of-pocket costs that for the district to keep that running? Does the funding sources cover the renting the
Yeah.
buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
They have been, those funding sources have been used for, I believe it covers all of the costs. Trying to think
Got
if
it.
they come out of any place else.
Nope, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted. Thank you. And then I also had a question about how often is the assessment tool reviewed? Or how often are you assessing the assessment tool to determine if this is the right fit for our kids?
The TS Gold?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to talk about that one?
That assessment tool is one that has been approved by the Department of Early Learning. So DELC it's approved by them. So teachers do have a take reliability test every year to make sure that they are assessing correctly. And so that is one thing, but that is one of the approves from DELC. So that is kind of a state choice from us.
Is that the only one approved?
No, there's a couple of other ones that are approved, but yeah, that is the one that we have been using mainly. And then in terms of reviewing it, I as the instructional coach review it often, make sure the teachers are putting in their observations and think I have any questions and thing, and then we do discuss them, and we also review the data on it to make sure that we're planning accordingly. Like, for example, this year we looked at a lot of our students were very low in their language development and fine motor development, so that was their focus for the year, language development, fine motor development. So as we do them, we also note the progress to make sure that students are continuing to make growth.
Thanks.
I noticed on the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, it says, once the whole state is on board, families will have the option to select bilingual books. Is that an option now?
Yes, that is an option now. Right now, they do have them available in English and Spanish. They have not done Russian because we are one of the states that have the Russian, but unfortunately that is not available yet, but it is available for English and Spanish.
Anybody else have any questions?
I supply a little bit more information to Ryan's question about the funding. The Teen Parent Program does come out of the general fund.
Well, thank you very much for coming to present tonight. That was wonderful.
Thank you. You only get one from me tonight.
Oh, man, that's something new. The next item on our agenda are confirmation items as presented as follows. 1, meeting minutes of the May 26th, 2026 regular board meeting and June 2nd, 2026 second budget committee meeting. Personnel, surplus property disposal report, acceptance of gifts and donations, funding proposal and applications, which would be the Mockingbird Foundation, $4,770 to support the audio production station's technical education program at the high school. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the confirmation items as presented.
I move to approve the confirmation items as presented.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the confirmation items as presented, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda, we have board action items. We have no old business, so we will move along to new business. The first item for new business is to appoint our student representatives on the board, and Jenny will help us with the voting process. Jenny?
Yes. I provided a copy of kind of how I will tally if you want to follow along. But I think right now the appropriate thing, I don't know if I summarized in the board packet in a memo kind of what your process has been, just to remind everybody in the community. In September 2025, you adopted the board policy BCBA to establish those 2 student representative positions. And then we did hold applications, or we promoted for applications. The high school helped us with that. And then we collected applications for a few months, late winter to April 15th. And then you received 5 total applications, excuse me, with 1 student withdrawing during the interview process. You held your 2 interviews, May 12th, June 9th, and then we listed the following candidates were as being interviewed: Abigail Trapala Vera, Betsy Trapala, Edwin Estevez Ramos, and Jasmine Sanchez Zaragoza. And then I had mentioned to the board chair that my recommendation would be for you to follow. We don't have, or you don't have in policy, a voting process. So my recommendation is for you to follow similar to what, if you were to have a vacancy on the board. And it's BBEAR, and it's number 5, and then it's B through E. So essentially, if you have 2 or more candidates, which is what you have here, you would vote for your top 2. And then in this case, because you have, and you have 2 positions, if the top 2 have your top votes, then you would appoint them. If you have 1 student with the majority of votes, they would be 1 student. And then if you have some ties, then we would kind of move to a second round of voting. But I would actually encourage you to have discussion now before we vote, if anybody wants to discuss the candidate.
Referring to them as candidate 1.
My suggestion would be to refer to them as candidate 1, 2, 3, and 4. The voting is public, so people will know who you're talking about, but just, as you're discussing here, you could refer them. And I listed them here on your sheet. Candidate 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's behind it. It should be behind your agenda there.
You have my. No, So, first I would want to say is that this is not an easy decision because we had 4 very, very strong candidates. And super excited because they blew me away. So anyway, but I think that, we should have some discussion based on, the questions we ask and the responses. And so does anyone want to start that? If not. So what I will just say, like myself personally, what I looked for was thank you, and what I listened for were students that were like really like this was going to be a big priority for them, and what they wanted to get out of it. And so I know like some of them had other commitments that, they mentioned, like they would, try to be here, or they would, they would tell the other person, or, they would do the best they could to get here. And so 2 that stood out for me were candidate 2 and candidate 3, who really were making that commitment that this was going to be a priority for them. In fact, candidate 3 even inquired about the training, like what kind of training would they be? And that really impressed me because like that showed me that like they really want to learn about this and get the leadership and communication skills. So that's why those 2 stood out for me. So, Ryan?
For me, it was what was their process or to not represent themselves, but represent the, and so that was what was most important to me. And I felt like there was 3 really strong candidates for that. Like you, and
Yeah.
thank you. All 4 of them were excellent.
Yes, they were fabulous. Yeah.
And I wish I was as awesome as they were when I was a high school student. My goodness.
They're amazing.
So those were some of the things I was looking the hardest at. How are they going to represent the broader voice?
Yeah.
I will ditto that. That's actually what I was going to say. And as far as what you were saying too, Chair, there's an aspect of also recognizing, yes, where there is conflicts and how to manage that, and knowing that they were already thinking and processing that to balance and prioritize, or how they approach it. But one of the things I was also very much looking for was that self-awareness, that and where areas they might have been, maybe not as well connected, but how it is that they wanted to be able to represent and bring that voice. And so that is something that I was definitely more attuned to, and actually my, at least for the notes that I was able to review quickly, my preferences were for candidates 1 and 4.
Well, I agree. This was one of the hardest decisions that I've made, but I think it also gives me hope for the future and
Yeah.
the leadership of our students. The way I rated it was in terms of time commitment, how much time can they actually allocate? How are they willing to represent their fellow peers? And as well as, what do they want to obtain from this experience? And so my top candidates, again, this was a very hard decision, but it was the third candidate, Edwin, and the first candidate.
Yeah, there was a couple that seemed a little bit, had a very intense schedule and were willing to take on more and be an advocate for their student bodies and, of course, engage and build their portfolio, their, and experience for their future. But yeah, candidate 3 definitely with the training and advocacy and perspective, and candidate 4. So they definitely seemed somebody who was more able to balance their schedules and the ability to be able to listen to their peers and advocate for them.
I'm sorry, I didn't give my ranking. Candidates 2 and 3 ranked the highest for me.
And I would just say, like, we can't go wrong no matter what we do. I would say, like, I also felt strongly about candidate 4, but like, when looking at resume and hearing the speak, she has a lot on her plate. And so, I mean, and that's like, they have to balance it. So that's part of the experience, of that. I did find it interesting. I can't, which candidate asked us? Was it 3 that asked us why we were on the board?
It was actually 4.
Was it 4? Yeah. I thought that was an interesting question, but, I think like what you guys said about like how they're going to relate back to their peers is very important. So, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't think we can go wrong no matter how we go. So Jenny?
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, so I'm just gonna go down the line here and then you can give me your 2.
Okay.
So Debbie,
2 and 3.
Michael,
3 and 1.
I'm sorry, number 3 and 1, 3 and 1. Rosie,
3 and 4.
Annabelle,
1 and 4.
and Ryan.
2 and 3. You got 1.
Okay, so candidate 1 got 2 votes, candidate 2, 2, candidate 3, 4, candidate 4, 2. So we will need to go to round 2, and for round 2, it'll be candidates 1, 2, and 4. And you will vote for your top choice. Okay, I'm gonna start in the back now. Ryan?
I'll stick with 2.
Mhm. Annabelle?
So I'll stick with 1.
Rosie?
I'll stick with 4.
Michael?
I'll stick with the 1.
And I'm going to stick with 2.
Okay. So that's 2, 2, and 1. Okay, so now it's now we're going to,
Can we discuss?
yeah, you can discuss.
So now it might be a good time to discuss who are we between
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I ranked them exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean, 1 has she has a lot of energy. I really enjoyed, everything. There again, for me, it's that commitment. Like, I feel like 2 might be able to commit a little more to it than than one can.
I don't-
That was my
I
kind of
don't
point.
want to make that judgment for them. I think.
I
that
think
they
she
came
said, I
here,
think she said that too, though, that, she was busy and she had soccer and she had to shoot out of here and stuff like
that-
that.
For me, that showed balance.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just the difference in the way you and I think. So,
Yeah.
and that's fine. That's absolutely 100% fine. So, I mean, like I said, no matter what we do, we cannot go wrong. So,
Question, was
Yes.
the soccer one candidate one?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
getting those.
yeah, yes, yeah. Any other thoughts before we go to?
I was gonna say, actually, Jenny, I had looked at my first number because I was looking at the wrong, on the sheet basically, and I had meant to go for 4, but are we sticking with just 1 and 2 then now, or are we
Yes.
putting it? Okay, that was my bad then.
Okay, let's go again. Everybody go.
Everybody ready? Okay. Rosie?
Between 1 and 2?
Correct.
1.
Michael?
2.
Debbie?
2.
Annabelle?
1.
And Ray?
2.
Okay, so number 2, Abigail. Got 3 votes. And Betsy got 2. So now you have a sample motion if somebody wants to make a motion to appoint, and it's Edwin
Let me find my.
and Abigail.
Do I have a motion to appoint student representatives to the board for the 25-26 or, 26-27 school year?
I move to appoint Edwin and Abigail as student representatives to the board for the 2026-2027 school year.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Abigail and Edwin as student representatives to the board for the 26-27 school year. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, so we have our student representatives and we will develop a letter to go out to all the candidates and then we will talk to them about the July 16th professional development. And Juan has volunteered to drive whoever got appointed there on that day. So they have transportation. So,
Is that the Eugene?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is the 26-27 superintendent evaluation timeline. Can you present that, Jenny?
Yes. So in your packet was a draft of the superintendent evaluation timeline. It's very similar to what we did this school year. Again, I have to work back from that April 1st date that's in the contract. And I work back this way. Start.
Can you tell us what page we're on?
We're on
It's
page.
32.
Thank you, Annabelle.
Yep.
Jesus. Okay. Spot links.
And today is that first date you're adopting the timeline. And then again, kind of, you have to look at the contract and then you have to look at the calendar. And in the contract, it does state that the board and superintendent will collaborate in goals. And so at your July org meeting, you will look at and review and adopt goals. And then the timeline for the check-in meetings will start. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, or if I have a typo, because I use the same template as last year's, let me know. If, just comment, if this feels very tight, and I'm kind of turning to you as well, Superintendent Larios, if this feels tight, it might be time to look at that April date and maybe have a MOU to extend it to June 30th. I don't know if that's an option, but I can send people what the language says, very little, short, but that date really restricts you on what your timeline looks like. It's a lot smaller. And then same thing with that July meeting, like those 2 dates, we have to work in between those 2 dates.
So in the June 23rd, that is the one that may be changed, correct?
June 23rd, this meeting.
Today.
Oh, no,
This
never
meeting
mind.
is just to adopt
I-
the timeline.
It is June 23rd. I
Yeah,
got
today's
it.
June 23rd.
Yeah. I was thinking about our organizational meeting. Depending on when that lands. it
Yeah, I
could
didn't
get
put a date
tighter.
in there. Yeah, I just kept it. It'll happen in July.
It's kind of what we went through this year.
Yep.
And I felt last year like we were not, I mean, being new, it was kind of seemed like really fast for us but maybe this year, do we feel better prepared to meet that timeline?
Feel like I have an understanding
Yeah.
of what I'm coming into this time around.
Yeah.
And this is also with the assumption that you're going to use that OSBA tool. I don't have another recommendation to make to you for another tool, but just to use those standards.
What would be reasons to, besides it being feeling tight? Because I believe there was something else also, but besides just the language on the contract that it's in April that we try to get that done.
That's in your contract, isn't it? The April 1st date? Yeah. Any discussion on this, or are we feeling like?
I would like to see that the TFS removed,
Tia, say that again?
the targeted feedback survey. I'd like to see that removed.
Okay.
So we didn't do it last year. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it would just be,
So does that prevent us? Oh, because then we wouldn't have it, right? Is that what you mean? Like, so we don't have it, so there's no sense putting it on there?
Yeah,
or
right. Yeah, it's not, we don't do it, so it shouldn't be in here as an
Yeah.
action, as approving this action item.
I can
Since it
remove
wasn't
that.
utilized.
When would that have been done, had we done it?
Like if the board decides they want to have it, you would decide tonight, but there has to be like another timeline for that,
Yeah,
which we don't
yeah,
have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So
I was just curious.
if the board is ever in future, we have to think about that, probably throughout the school year, like, hey, next year we should consider, it, and then we can come prepared with a timeline and a tool. Yeah, I can take that out before this gets shared back out.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the superintendent evaluation timeline.
I move to adopt the 2026-2027 superintendent evaluation timeline as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the 2026-2027 superintendent evaluation timeline as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is the 2026-2027 budget resolution number 26-002, presented by Director Bishop.
Good evening, Superintendent Larios and school board members. You have in front of you the 2026-2027 approved budget. So at the budget committee meeting, it was called a proposed budget. The budget committee approved it. We are now at the approved stage. Nothing has changed in this budget besides copying over the numbers from the proposed line over to the approved line. This is exactly what you saw at the budget committee meeting. Now we just have a resolution attached to it.
Any questions?
Chair, we have a request.
Oh,
We would like for you to read it into the record.
oh yes, I'm sorry. This one does require the resolution be read.
Oh. Okay. All right. So be it resolved that the Board of the Woodburn School District hereby adopts the budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027 in the total amount of $146,821,110. This budget is now on file at 1390 Meridian Drive in Woodburn, Oregon. Be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 as listed below for a total of $146,821, or no, $146,824,110. Be it resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable properties within the district for the tax year 2026, 2027, at the rate of 4.5247 per 1,000 of assessed value for permanent rate tax, and in the amount of $6,644,379 for debt service on general obligation bonds. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for a purpose of Article 11, Section 11B as subject to the education limit, permanent rate tax 4.5247 per thousand, and excluded from the limitation, the general obligation bond service, $6,644,379. Ending fund balance commitments and policies. Ending fund balance assignments, be it resolved that in compliance with GSB 54, the authority to classify portions of the ending fund balance be granted to the superintendent and the director of business. Spending as it relates to ending fund balance policy, the board of directors considers the spending of restricted classification of fund balance on purposes for which such funds can be used to occur first when funds are spent for restricted and unrestricted purposes. When unrestricted classification of fund balances are spent, the board will consider that committed amounts will be reduced first, followed by assigned amounts, and then unassigned amounts. Authority, the board of directors reserves the authority to establish and modify commitments of ending fund balance. The above resolution statements were approved and declared adopted on June 23rd, 2026. Now a motion? Do I have a motion to adopt the 2027 budget resolution 26-002?
I move to adopt the resolution 26-002, the 2026 to 2027 Woodburn School District budget as read into record.
Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 26-002, the 2026-2027 Woodburn School District budget as read into the record. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is, wait. 2026 Woodburn School District Strategic Plan, presented by Superintendent Larios.
Yes, you have a pretty thick packet there with the budget included there, but if you go to past the budget to page 120 of your board packet, or 121, you'll find this executive summary of the strategic plan. And the first few pages are really valuable, kind of telling the story of of the process and how we arrived to what we're bringing to the board tonight for adoption. And that begins on page 125.
We don't have a 125, I don't,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's executive.
That's the budget.
So,
Oh,
Budget.
yeah.
That you guys are looking at. It's in the
It's-
packet.
It's in.
oh, in the packet,
Yeah,
okay.
It's in the
I
back.
thought you said, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm seeing the digital, and so it's all combined on into one, but you have it separately. So apologize for that.
Okay, thank you.
If you're looking at it digitally, it's past all the budget pages.
It's in board book and you can pull up the PDF too.
It's open through Gmail or something.
Okay, so what
So-
page on?
Yeah, so 125 is where I want to draw your attention. The first few pages of that executive summary are very valuable, and it kind of tells the backstory of the process, the involvement of the committee, the meetings, and the discussion that they had. But on 125, you'll find what's coming to the board tonight for adoption. And at a glance, I hope that this looks visually different for you when you look at it. That's part of the intent here, is that you see the distinguish, from this to that, and recognize it as being different, because that's an important aspect of bringing a new plan forward. But some of the language that you're going to read and find in it is very similar to what is already in place. I want to point some of those things out that are the same and some things that have changed. The mission remains the same. The vision also remains the same. When you look down at the values, you'll see that there are now 7 values where there previously were 6. We had previously identified or clumped together family, community, and civic engagement. After much conversation with the committee, the idea of civic engagement was identified as being valuable, but is part of what being a part of the community. So that was pulled in as thinking like if we are members of our community, then we are civically engaged. And so it's not necessary then to call it out because that's part of what it means to be part of a community. And so that's why you'll see family and community are being teased out, and the civic responsibility is being pulled in under community. Under the goals and objectives. And again, there's a lot of things here that are similar. And I think that speaks to the quality plan that has been in place and has been in place over many years and the revisions that have happened to it. But under goal number 1, there's been an increase there in the idea of readiness, opportunity, and access. E, graduate on time with a plan, is a new objective. And that speaks to the value that the committee held with knowing that all of our students are not just graduating, but they're graduating with that idea, the plan in place for what they want to do post high school, be it college, being career options, or success in life for all students. So that was emphasized as we want all of our students not only to graduate, but they have a clear plan in place. And it's connected back to some of those previous objectives of the career connected learning and access. So there's connection between objectives C, D, and E, but E is a new one that's was emphasized the value that the committee held in that idea of a plan being in place with each of our graduates. Goal number 2, I want to draw your attention to objective A. Objective A is a new one. It's not new in the sense that, okay, we're only now thinking of attendance as being something that we're measuring and monitoring, but it's specifically called out on the plan that each student will regularly attend school on time and ready to learn. And previously that was kind of embedded. It was kind of like underneath some of the concepts of the previous objectives, but this one now it's really being specific and calling it out. And in the goal itself, you'll see the new word there, belonging, that fostering our culture of belonging, engagement, and partnerships, really believing that student attendance is driven by their sense of belonging. So if we're creating a culture where our students feel like they belong, we're going to see improvements in attendance. So that is kind of a significant change in goal number 2. And then goal number 3 remains the same. So a lot of things are pretty similar. The mission, the vision, values, and many of the goals, not a whole lot of change. But again, I think that speaks to the quality of the plan that existed previously and just the belief from the committee that we're on the right track, but there are some changes that needed to be made and needed to be addressed with the values and goals 1 and goal 2. And this plan will lead us into what we develop for our operations and how we provide professional development and how we set goals and build our plans that really drive teaching and learning and instruction in the district.
Other questions?
For 1E, it's a new goal and objectives. Are there any new strategies or programs or resources to help with that?
In the executive summary, the last page of the executive summary has some connection to possible measures. And what's been emphasized here is the plan and profile completion. So there are some ideas and thoughts for how that can be completed. It's a plan that begins with students in the middle school and how that could be tightened up so that it's more of a living document that flows with students as they learn more. They come back to their plan and adjust. As they have different experiences, they come back to them and adjust. So there's some thinking, there's some work to be done still to flush things out into a concrete plan of action.
just, D kind of overlaps with E as far as having a plan. Just, it seems like it's just,
Yeah, the D is the idea that they would explore those post-secondary pathways. They'd have a clear understanding so that they know, like, how am I going to individualize it then and create that as part of what I'm going to do? Or how am I going to use those for my plan?
But that also coincides with the fact that they have some additional programs and classes for juniors and seniors in preparation for after they graduate with either trade school colleges or other work ethics.
Yeah, we're continually seeking opportunities to meet or to provide students with classes or experiences
Yeah.
that are going to help them towards college or career and success in life. So yes, the CTE programs and classes that exist at the high school and that exist at the Willamette Career Academy and continue to kind of evolve as the interests of students grow and change. We want to try to match those with for kids. So the classes that were there last year for CTE will continue to come back and revisit and say, are these still matching what our students are asking us to have? And do we need to change and do something different?
But don't they have some additional classes, like, for instance, on how budgeting and
Personal finance.
Oh, personal finance.
yeah, personal
Yes,
finance.
that's being added as a
Yeah.
graduation requirement. So all students will have that personal finance class.
I guess my question is, students will attend school on time and ready to learn. Like, I guess that's been a goal for a long time.
It has.
And so, what are some new strategies? Because I understand we didn't meet the attendance goal this year. So what are some strategies to get kids here on time and ready to learn?
That's part of what, it's developed after the adoption of the
plan.
plan. And you're right, attendance has been a goal of ours for a whole long time. It just hasn't been specific on specifically called out as an objective on the strategic plan. It's kind of been embedded with the idea that if students are cultivating relationships, attendance will improve, but it's not ever been articulated like, boom, attendance.
So how do you measure? I mean, I guess I'm wondering, like, attendance data will that,
The regular attendance, right?
yeah, I mean, how do we measure with it, whether that sense of belonging is actually impacting that? I guess that's my question.
Oh, the connection between sense of
Yeah.
belonging. We'll be, using tools like the climate surveys, the youth truth survey, but basing it on like the hypothesis that as those things get better for kids, as they have a greater sense of belonging, that there's going to be an increase in attendance.
Makes sense.
So we are planning on engaging these groups that help participate to craft this as we continue to kind of make it a living document, or is this once they were consulted, we just implemented?
No, this is a living document, and there's lots of plans that get developed after this. Our integrated plan, which involves a lot of community input, and then down at the building level, there's the school improvement plans, and each of those plans are developed in partnership through Lakeside councils with parents, feedback, and student input to develop what to do and how to do it.
So are we able to add things on as we identify new needs and those words?
At this level of a strategic plan,
Just as we go throughout the next couple years.
we'll be able to come back and add nuances to it perhaps, but this is like a plan that helps us then do some long-term projection planning, it's like a 3-year plan from 2026 to 29 is what gets adopted. So it's this are like the goals for the next 3 years, but within different plans there are like different sub goals or bullets that are in support. Like for us to achieve this bigger one, we're gonna have to do some little smaller things.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion. Do we need a motion for this one? Okay.
Yes.
To adopt the strategic plans that we need. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2026 through 2029 Woodburn School District Strategic Plan.
I move to adopt the 2026-2029 Woodburn School District Strategic Plan as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
So been moved and seconded to adopt the 2026 through 2029 Woodburn School District Strategic Plan as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we'll go through the first reading for policy update. Juan, that is you as well.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of policies in this packet as well. They're being presented as is, no edits or revisions or recommendations coming to the board tonight. It's just straight from OSBA. Here are the policies that are they're up for either being highly recommended, optional. I think that's all I see in this packet is the highly recommended or optional policies. I think it would be wise of the board to kind of look at those and think about, are there some that we want to bring forward at the operations agreement meeting in July? There might be something that, hey, we want to start the year with this policy revised or in place. So as you look through the packet, as you look through all these policies, like maybe identify those and let the chair and I know as we set the agenda. So we think about which ones we want to prioritize for July and which ones we wait till August. So there are a lot of them here, but many of them have to do with how the board operates with agenda setting, the officers and committees. And so there are a lot of things that are specific to board work in these policies.
There are a couple that go around FMLA and OFLA and sick leave, which we might read and think about. If you're going to implement, those might be ones that you might want to implement before school starts. So we're not having to make some kind of change of the rules like after school has started.
Yeah, so no action needed tonight. They're just being presented as is.
Any questions?
Superintendent, do you have are there anything on here that I know we've mentioned a couple, but do you see on that we really need to key in on? Like, for example, I'm looking at, how are we doing on our equity advisory committee? Like, has that been established? Are they on our budget committee? I mean, what's the status of that?
Giving a report, we had the committee this year. We did not have a parent. We had staff, and so we didn't have a parent that was able to sit on the committee. But we'll be, again.
But doesn't this policy change that so that you don't have, like, if there isn't one available or one doesn't volunteer, you don't, it kind of changes that. Before it was like they have to, now it's like.
Yeah, that was not a unique situation to Woodburn. It was statewide, and that's what kind of drove that change and making it initially went from a board committee to a superintendent committee, and it continues to kind of be revised as at the state level. This is why we see it as a policy, because there's some issues that have come forward with it.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, does anyone have any suggestions for future agenda items? No? Okay, so moving on to,
I'm sorry, I would personally like, maybe it's better if I email it.
okay, all right.
Just do that,
Yeah,
actually.
that'd be great. Thank you. Moving on to board calendar listed below our upcoming board meetings and district events. July 21st is the organizational board meeting and board retreat from 10 to 8.
Yeah.
This is where we need to discuss, and I post some dates, but this is where we need to discuss that Vince is not available for that evening. And so, I don't know if one of you want to share, but I can share. We had discussed that if we want to keep the organizational meeting that day, we could, and it probably would maybe be an hour and a half max. And then we would move our board retreat to when Vince is available, and then the 2 dates that we're proposing.
The 28th and the 30th.
Correct. 28th, he was limited to 9 to 4. The 30th, he said
He's open,
anytime.
yeah.
So, and the other option could be to cross out July 21st and then have the
Everything
org
on
meeting
one
with the
day.
retreat on one of these dates that Vince is available.
'30th and the what?
28th. No, they don't work.
I'll have to make them work.
Well, does it, I guess the question
28th
is,
is better for me.
okay,
Are we
does it work
talking
better
dates
for you
or
to
what?
have the
Yeah.
one on the one date and then like split them, or would you rather have everything on one date?
I would rather have everything on one day,
Okay.
so.
The 28th is something I might be able to work with.
I can do the 28th.
20 works for me.
Annabelle, does that work for you?
Yeah, I can make the 28th work.
Okay. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to change the organizational board meeting from July 21st to July 28th. And board retreat. And then we'd have to do it 9 to 4. Okay, from 9 to 4.
So moved.
Is there a second? Oh, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to move our organizational board meeting and board retreat to July 28th, 2026 from 9 to 4. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Do we call that community event coming up? Is that in July or not till August? Okay. Okay. Next we have the community engagement worksheet. But I got a copy of that. So if we want to come up with some talking points.
How about our student representative?
Yes, that's a good one.
Don't we have that city council meeting coming?
Yes. It's still not scheduled.
It's not scheduled yet. Did everyone take the poll? Okay. Other things that might be talking points? When we're out and about?
Well, can we get a little bit more info on the purpose of this city board and school board meeting? And that's a talking point.
Okay.
Hey, the board's
Yeah.
meeting, the school board and the city are meeting together to discuss.
City council?
It's just collaboration, yeah.
To discuss the collaboration efforts between the district and the city.
City council and board, yeah.
So one of those would be that community connection
Yeah,
event that we do
Community Connection Day,
on August 1st.
where the city and the district are the sponsors really and the doers. Like Jenny sits on that committee and does a tremendous amount of work for that event. This is one example.
I think we'll know more about that when the meeting's set and an agenda kind of comes forward from that. Anything else?
Do we have any big end of year, anything that we could be amplifying?
I think it's worth highlighting the strategic plan.
Oh.
That we have a new strategic plan. It'll be a big part of the kickoff at the start of the next school year, making it really public in our schools and in the community, letting people know here are our goals and objectives.
Are there additional highlights with the summer program?
Oh, summer school?
Summer school, and then nutrition services is having summer feed. Let me pull up the
From
flyer.
kindergarten to 12th grade for during the summer?
It's ages 1 through 18. So and it's Monday through Friday from 11:30 to 1. 3 locations. Oh, 4 locations.
Oh, 4 locations?
I was gonna say.
Woodburn Library, Washington Elementary, Legion Park, and Nuevo Amanecer.
What was the fourth one?
Nuevo Amanecer, right here across the street.
You
And
said Legion Park?
I think
Legion
there's a,
Park.
I think a couple of them are just like SAC pickup lunch, and then a couple of them are like sit down.
Yeah, the sit-down ones are at the library and at Washington. And then the grab and go is at Legion Park and right here across the street, Nuevo Amanecer. 11:30 to 1.
Okay. So what we have as talking points are student representatives, the school board, city collaboration and community connection day, and then we'll get more information about that. The strategic plan, the goals and objectives, summer school, and then the summer feeding program, and where it is and the ages that it supports and the time that it is. Does that sound good? All right. All right, at this time, we will recess the regular meeting for an executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, and ORS 192.6602D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. Thank you for coming. Or if you want to come back.
I now call the regular meeting back to order. So I would entertain motions on things that we had discussed in executive session. In regards to our interdistrict transfer, is there a motion for that?
I move to, make a motion to overturn the original denial of the inter-district transfer presented in executive session.
Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to overturn the original denial of the interdistrict transfer presented in executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. I would entertain a motion about the contract grievance that was discussed in executive session.
I move to not hear. I move to not hear the contract grievance at level 3 from Woodburn Education Association as reviewed in executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved in second to not hear the contract grievance at level 3 from Woodburn Education Association as reviewed in executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
No,
Motion carries 4-0.
4-1.
Oh, 4-1, I'm sorry. 4-1. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time this evening. With no other agenda items listed, I now move to adjourn the meeting at 7:44 PM.